Today's class is on redox reactions, concept of oxidation number, rules for the calculation of oxidation number, and calculation of oxidation number of element in a compound. Now, today we are starting for redox reactions. We are starting for redox reactions. First, the introduction, where we can use the redox concept in our daily life, that photosynthesis. It is the actually most important part of plants' life, and also to us, photosynthesis. It is a redox type reaction. Carbon dioxide converts to glucose. Redox type reactions. Number two, our ozone layer depletion. Ozone layer depletion is also a redox type reaction, where CFC disintegrate to form Cl dot free radical, which decomposes the ozone to form ClO and liberates oxygen. Again Cl2O liberates nascent oxygen, etc. and so on. In our battery, maybe dry cell, maybe lead storage battery, whatever may be, all these are redox type reactions, redox type system. And so in our daily life, redox reaction plays an important role in several ways. Next point is oxidation number. See that how the redox reaction occurs. Suppose sodium chloride is formed from sodium and chlorine, and we know that sodium forms Na1 plus, and means Na plus 1 actually, plus liberates one electron from its valence shell because it contains one electron in its valence shell. So it liberates one electron and hence it occupies the octet in its valence shell. Again chlorine, by accepting that electron, forms Cl minus. So here sodium forms Na1 plus, chlorine forms Cl1 minus. These are the actually oxidation number 1 minus. These are the oxidation numbers. Oxidation numbers. Now which are called oxidation numbers? Oxidation number. Oxidation number is nothing but the charge occupies by the atom or radical. Charge occupies by the atom or radical after complete transferring of electrons in case of electrovalent compounds or partial shifting of electrons in case of covalent compounds. These charges are called the oxidation number. Here +1 is the oxidation number of sodium and that of -1 is the oxidation number of the chlorine atom. Now I am starting for the oxidation number for electrovalent and covalent compounds. What is oxidation number for an electrovalent compound? Complete electron transfer takes place. Sodium forms 1 plus 1 and chlorine forms 1 minus, that means -1. So these are the oxidation number of the element present in the electrovalent compound. So the charge occupies by the atom or radical, maybe carbonate, like in carbonate, sodium carbonate. Suppose this is the compound sodium carbonate. Here sodium occupies +1 charge but the carbonate occupies -2 charge. So the radical charge occupied by the radical is also the oxidation number of the compound. But in case of covalent compound, suppose in case of carbon dioxide, we know that the oxidation number of oxygen is -2 and that of carbon is +4. But how it can be possible? Because we know that no complete electron transfer takes place in case of covalent compound. Here sharing pair of electron takes place, but the shifting of electron also occurs in case of polar compound or polar bond. Here C double bond O is a polar bond. We know that the structure of CO2 is like this. C double bond O is a polar bond. So here C double bond O, in case of such type of bond, the oxygen attracts the electron density towards it and hence occupies del negative charge, actually del negative charge to del negative. So This oxygen also occupies 2 del negative charge over it, and hence carbon occupies 4 del positive charge over it. But here the carbon occupies plus 4 charge, which means that complete electron transfer takes place here. But actually CO2 is a covalent compound, dipolar, non-polar molecule, so it has no charge at all. But that's why we can say that in case of electrovalent compound, the concept of oxidation number is real. But in case of covalent compounds, this concept of oxidation number is a fictitious, not the real part, but it is fictitious. Now, this how can we calculate the oxidation number of an element or a particular radical in a particular compound? So there are some rules. I am writing these rules one after one. First rule is that total number of bonds, that means the valency, equal to the oxidation number. Generally it equals to oxidation number. How many bonds? Because calculate the total number of sigma bond and pi bond, and take each bond takes one. Each bond takes one. But in case of coordinate bond takes two, because 2 electron transfer takes place for the coordinate bond. Complete electron, 2 electron transfer takes place. Sharing pair of electron not occurs here. In case of coordinate bond, complete electron transfer doesn't take place also, but the electron transfer occurs through a particular atom towards a particular atom, and that's why coordinate bond, in case of coordinate bond, we take the oxidation number is 2. Now number 2, take in case of electropositive substance, more electropositive substance, we place a prefix plus, prefix plus with respect to the valency. So first write the valency of that particular atom or radical, and before it as a prefix they give a plus sign. And in case of an electronegative part, assign the prefix minus with respect to the in front of the valency. So first write the valency of that particular substance, then write minus, like this here. Sodium is a metal, so its valency in sodium chloride salt, it is valency is 1. That of chlorine is also 1, but sodium is metal which is electropositive, so assign a plus mark as a prefix. And in case of chlorine, as it is a non-metal and electronegative, assign a negative mark as a prefix. So this is the rule. Third point, in case of hydrogen, when attached with a metal, like in case of sodium hydride, potassium hydride, etc. So take oxidation number of hydrogen equal to -1. But when it is attached with a non-metal, like H2O, like in HCl, etc., oxidation number of hydrogen equal to +1. Now these are the first 3 rules. Number 4 is that for the oxygen atom in any oxides, oxidation number of oxygen is equal to -2. In peroxide, oxidation number of oxygen equal to -1. But in case of, there is some exceptional case, if or whenever oxygen combines with fluorine, because fluorine is the most electronegative, that's why in case of OH2 the oxidation number of oxygen is +2, not the -2, because fluorine is the most electronegative, so it assumes that the oxidation, that means fluorine, first we have to write the valency over it. The valency of fluorine is 1 and that of oxygen is 2. Then oxygen more electropositive as compared to fluorine. Fluorine is the most electronegative, so assigns a prefix minus, and here in case of oxygen assigns a prefix plus. That's why oxidation number of oxygen is +2. In case of O2F2, which is also a peroxide of fluorine, the oxidation number of oxygen is not the -1, but here it is +1. So fourth point is this, Next fifth point. Next fifth point is that assign zero oxidation number for the bond where same atoms are attached through sigma bond. So same atom are attached through sigma bond. Like in case of hydrogen peroxide, suppose this is the structure of hydrogen peroxide, HOOH. Here the two oxygen atoms, same atom, is attached through sigma bond. That's why the oxidation number for this bond is 0. So how many bond for this oxygen atom present here? Only one with hydrogen, because for this bond the oxidation number is 0. So here only one bond is formed. That's why the valence of hydrogen is 1, oxygen is also 1, hydrogen is more electropositive, that is plus, oxygen is more electronegative, that is minus. That's why in case of peroxide, oxidation number of oxygen becomes -1, not the +2 or -2. But in case of coordinate bond, not the minus. In case of, if we draw the coordinate bond here, suppose S coordinate bond S. So this is not the sigma bond. So assign for this sulfur -2 and for this sulfur that is +2. So for a coordinate bond, not the 0 here, because coordinate bond is not the simple sigma bond. So as it coordinates at the lone pair of the sulfur donates to this sulfur, so it occurs +2 charge and this sulfur occupies the -2 charge. These are the oxidation number of the corresponding these. And the last point is this: the overall oxidation number of a molecule may be an element of an element or a compound, whatever may be, of a molecule is always 0. So these are the points or the rules for the calculation of the oxidation number. Now after finding the oxidation number of a particular element, suppose in case of KMnO4, if we want to calculate the oxidation number of manganese, suppose, then manganese, we have assumed the oxidation number of manganese is X, and we know that the valency of potassium is always 1 because this is the element of group 1, and that's why the oxidation number becomes +1 as it is a metal. Oxygen, as it is oxide here, so it is -2. So if we want to calculate the oxidation number of manganese here, therefore +1 into number of potassium atom, that is 1, X into number of manganese atom 1, plus -2 into number of oxygen atom equal to 0, because the overall oxidation number of a molecule becomes 0. So by calculating this, we get X +1 minus 8 means -7 equal to 0, and therefore X equal to always +7. Write +7, not the 7, because 7 denotes the valency, not the oxidation number. So KMnO4, it is +7. If we want to calculate the oxidation number of K2Cr, chromium in K2Cr2O7, suppose we assign the oxidation number of chromium is CX here, and that of potassium is +1, that of oxygen is -2. So +1 into number of potassium atom is 2, plus X, this is the oxidation number of chromium, assumed oxidation number, into number of chromium atom is 2, plus -2, that is the oxidation number of oxygen, into 7, overall equal to 0. Therefore +2 plus 2x minus 14 equal to 0. So we can calculate the value of X equal to +6. Again we have to write the plus sign as a prefix here because it denotes the oxidation number. Now we want to actually, in case of a compound, in case of a chemical reaction, oxidation number increase. If the oxidation number of an element increases, that means oxidation. In our modern point of view, oxidation number increase means oxidation, and oxidation number decrease. If the decrease of the oxidation number occurs, decrease means reduction, and we know that the substance which gets oxidized itself, is called the reductant. So this is the reductant, and the substance which gets reduced itself is called the oxidant. Here this is the oxidant. Now what is the basic difference between the valency and oxidation number? Actually, some students, there are so many students who make some difficulties or mistakes in case of the identification of valency and oxidation number. First, valency, and this is the oxidation number. The first point is this, number one. Actually, this is the number of bond forms. Number of bond forms. Sigma and pi bond. Number of bond forms in between two or more atoms. This is the oxidation number, valency. But the oxidation number is the charge occupied by the atom or radical over it after transferring of complete transferring of electron or actually partial transfer of electron. So this is the charge occupies. 2. No positive or negative sign. No positive or negative sign is given as prefix. No positive or negative sign is given. It is a pure number. It is a pure number. But here, to assign the oxidation number of an element, we have to use the positive or negative sign as a prefix. Positive or negative sign must be given as a prefix. Must be given as a prefix here. Third point, it is a real concept because the number of bond forms, it is a real concept always. In a compound, number of bond we can calculate, and after the formation of bond only the compound exists. But here, in case of electrovalent compound, this is a real concept. Already we have discussed. In case of electrovalent compounds, this is the real concept. But in case of covalent compound, this is fictitious. Covalent compound, this is fictitious, not the real concept. And fourth point is that the valency never be zero. Never be zero. Only in case of exception, only in case of inert gas. Only in case of inert gases which do not react with any other element. So only in case of inert gases this becomes zero. Otherwise it is a pure whole number. But here it may be any integer including zero, and also becomes a fraction, maybe fractional number, maybe also a fraction. So these are the actually differences between valency and oxidation number. Now we are ready to calculate the oxidation number of a particular element in a compound. Like in Fe3O4, what is the oxidation number of iron, the undersigned atom? So if we assign the oxidation number of iron is X, therefore we can calculate X into 3 plus minus 2 into 4 equal to 0. Therefore X equal to plus 8 by 3. But this becomes a fractional number. Maybe we know that oxidation number is fraction, so here it comes a fractional number. But actually it doesn't be a fractional number because it can't be a fractional number because electron transfer takes place here. No half or 1/3 part of the electron can be transferred here. So how can we explain this? Because we know that it is a mixed oxide. It is actually a mixed oxide combined with FeO plus Fe2O3. FeO and Fe2O3, and we know that in case of FeO the oxidation number of iron is plus 2, and in case of Fe2O3 the oxidation number of iron is plus 3. So how many atoms in case of iron? In case of FeO there is only one atom, so plus 2 into 1, plus how many atoms of iron in Fe2O3? There are 2 atoms, so plus 3 into 2. So overall charge becomes plus 8. Now how many atoms in total? There are 3 atoms of iron. So average oxidation number of iron becomes plus 8 by 3 because the total charge is distributed over the 3 atoms. This is the first case. Next, in case of Na2S4O6, if we want to calculate the oxidation number of sulfur, then first we can calculate the value of X here, plus 1 into 2 because sodium is the element of group 1, plus 1 into 2. Let sulfur is X into 4. Let oxygen is minus 2, always minus 2 into 6 equal to 0. So you can calculate 4x plus 2 minus 12 means minus 10 equal to 0. So from this we can calculate X equal to plus 2.5, but actually it can't be 0.2.5. So how can we explain? From its structure, sulfur. Actually the structure is like this: O minus double bond O, O minus double bond O. This is the actual structure of Na2S4O6. Na2S4O6. Now we have to calculate the oxidation number of each sulfur atom at first. See this, for these two sulfur, here is a sigma bond, so for this bond the oxidation number becomes 0. Already we have actually discussed about this. So now calculate the oxidation number for this sulfur. How many bonds are in its surrounding? This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this sulfur has only one bond attached to this sulfur. That's why for this sulfur occupies +1 charge, only one bond. Here two bonds are formed, one sigma and other pi, therefore -2 charge for oxygen. Here only one bond with oxygen, so therefore oxygen occupies only -1 charge with respect to this sulfur. Here one bond with oxygen, two bonds with oxygen, therefore -2. So in its surrounding total, the charge in its surrounding becomes -6. See this, total becomes -6, and that's why this sulfur becomes +6. Here also this sulfur becomes +6. This -1, this is also -1. So total charge of the sulfur, 4 sulfur atoms, total charge over 4 sulfur atoms equal to +6 into 2 plus -1 into 2. Therefore 12 minus 2 means 10. So average oxidation number plus 10 by 4, that means plus 2.5. This is the average oxidation number. Thus we can calculate the oxidation number of oxygen in KO2. This is the superoxide. See this, if we take potassium is +1, then O2 is -1, therefore per oxygen that will be -half. How it can be explained? Because we know that potassium, by releasing one electron, it forms K1 plus, and by releasing one electron it releases, and that oxygen molecule then accept this electron to form O2 minus. Therefore this -1 charge is distributed over 2 oxygen atoms. So each oxygen atom occupies -1/2 charge. This is the average oxidation number of the oxygen in KO2. And the last is Fe4. Next point is Fe4, FeCN6(3), ferric ferrocyanide. This is the Prussian blue, formula of the Prussian blue. We have to calculate the oxidation number of these two iron. Now see that the oxidation number of iron, the valency of this iron is 3. Therefore the oxidation number becomes +3, as it is the metal electropositive, so it becomes plus. Now we have to calculate the oxidation number of this. Suppose +3 into 4, because there are 4 atoms of Fe4, FeCN6(3). Fe is 4 here, plus here the iron is in +X state, but -1, cyanide is in -1. How can we calculate the cyanide, oxidation number of cyanide? Say this is the stable compound of cyanide, potassium cyanide. It is +1, so overall charge will be -1. Cyanide is -1. Therefore it becomes -1 into 6 into whole 3, because there are 3 such radicals. Overall becomes 0. So +12 plus 3 into x, that means 3x, -6 into 3, -18 equal to 0. Therefore 3x equal to +6. So x equal to +2. So this iron is equal to +2. These are the oxidation number of some elements in their compounds. Now we have to calculate the oxidation number of sulfur in H2SO5. This is the Carros acid, actually peroxomonosulfuric acid. If we calculate the value of X, which is the assumed oxidation number of sulfur, then X equal to, this is +2, this is -2 into 5, that is -10. So overall charge +2 -10 means -8. That means X becomes +8, but it can't be, because sulfur last cell contains only 6 electrons, so it can't be +8. How can we calculate? Then first we have to draw the structure of H2SO5. This is the structure of H2SO5, OOH. This is the double bond O. Here double bond O, single bond OH. So find out the charge in its surrounding, total charge in its surrounding. See that this is a peroxo linkage, So only one oxygen atom is attached only one through with this sulfur through only one bond. That's why it assumed -1. This oxygen is double bonded with sulfur. That's why -2. This oxygen also double bonded with sulfur, -2. This oxygen attached to its single bond with sulfur. That means it occupies only -1. So in its surrounding total charge becomes -6. That's why this sulfur becomes +6. So this is the +6 state, H2SO5. Then we have to calculate the oxidation number of Cr in CrO5. This is the chromium peroxide. If we calculate the oxidation number of Cr, assume the oxidation number of Cr is X here, so that means X equal to +10. But how it can be possible? Because the chromium last cell contains, actually the electronic configuration is argon core 4s135. Last cell contains only 6 electrons. So how it can be possible +10 charge? So to explain this, we have to draw the structure at first. This is the butterfly structure of chromium peroxide. This is the butterfly structure. See this. Now we have to calculate the total charge in its surrounding. Total charge in its surrounding. This is the peroxo linkage. That's why each oxygen atom occupies -1 charge. Oxygen atom occupies -1, but this is double bond. That's why this oxygen occupies -2. So overall charge in its surrounding is -6. See this, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So this chromium is +6 state. Here chromium is in +6 state again. Now we have to calculate the 2 chlorine atom, oxidation number of 2 chlorine atom and CaOCl2. This is the bleaching powder. If we calculate the oxidation, assume the oxidation number of chlorine is X, then calcium is +2, oxygen is -2, and this is 2X, overall 0. Therefore X becomes 0. But how it can be possible in a compound? It cannot be 0 because it is attached with the calcium and oxygen as well as. Therefore we have to draw the structure CaOClCl. See this, calcium here is +2, chlorine directly attached with calcium, it is electronegative and forms only one bond. That's why it is -1. Oxygen also forms one bond, it is -1. That's why oxygen also forms here also one bond with chlorine. So it is also -1 with respect to this bond, and chlorine occupies the +1 charge. See also this. How many bond is formed with chlorine and oxygen? In between chlorine and oxygen, only one bond is there. Only one bond is there. So number of bond is the valency here. So for this bond, oxygen occupies the valency 1, chlorine also occupies the valency 1. Oxygen more electronegative, it becomes -1. Chlorine more electropositive as compared to oxygen, so it becomes +1. So these are the oxidation state of the 2 chlorine atoms in bleaching powder. Next part is the C3O2. We have to calculate the oxidation number of carbon, C3O2. So see the structure of C3O2, because we can't find the oxidation number, actual oxidation number of carbon here. C3O2, the structure is like this, C3 double bond O, double bond O. So for these two actually, it becomes 0 because this carbon atom is attached with the carbon atom. The dipole moment becomes 0, cannot be attracted or shifted the electron density towards the particular carbon atom because both of them are carbon. That's why the carbon atom, this carbon becomes 0. Now, so the bond actually here, the polar bond is C double bond O, C double bond O. It is -2. Here also it is -2. So this carbon is +2. This carbon is +2. So overall charge is +2. Here it is 0. Overall charge of the carbon +2, +0, +2. It is +4. Therefore, the average oxidation number of carbon here is +4/3. If we calculate by taking the oxidation number of carbon is X, therefore 3x -4, because it is -2, -2 into 2, -4 becomes 0. So from this data we can calculate the value of X equal to +4/3. See this, here also the average oxidation number of carbon is +4/3. And then Na2S2O3, if we want to calculate the oxidation number of sulfur here, then first we have to draw the structure of this compound. S, coordinate bond S, this is O minus, this is O minus, this is double bond O. This is the actually structure of sodium thiosulfate, Na2S2O3. Now see that how many bonds are found with the oxygen atom, with the central sulfur atom. Oxygen forms only one bond, so as it is more electronegative, it occupies -1. Here also oxygen is -1, but this is double bonded O, so it is -2. Here it is the coordinate bond, so sulfur occupies -2 charge. This sulfur occupies -2 charge. So in its surrounding, total charge becomes -6. So that's why this becomes +6. See the total charge of the sulfur atom, plus 6 minus 2, this is plus 4, and there are 2 sulfur atoms, so the average oxidation number of sulfur equal to plus 4 by 2, that means 2 plus 2. So if we calculate by assuming the oxidation number of sulfur is x, then plus 1 into 2 plus 2x plus minus 2 into 3, overall charge becomes 0. So you can calculate 2x plus 2 minus 6 means minus 4 equal to 0. Hence x equal to plus 2. Also it comes x equal to plus 2. Now you have to calculate the oxidation number of bromine in Br3O8. Br3O8. If we calculate by assuming the oxidation number of bromine is x, then 3x minus 16 equal to 0, from which you can calculate the value of x is plus 16 by 3. But how can it be possible? Because the structure is Br, double bond O, double bond O, double bond O, single bond Br, single bond Br. This is also double bond O, double bond O, double bond O. Here also double bond O, double bond O. So for this linkage, Br, single bond Br, single bond Br, for this linkage actually the oxidation number becomes 0. So you have to find out the oxidation number of this part from this part of the bromine, oxidation number of the bromine from this part, and oxidation number of the bromine from this part. So separately we have to calculate the oxidation number of each atom, each bromine atom. Now from this part, double bonded O occupies minus 2, double bonded O minus 2, double bonded O minus 2. So this chromium is plus 6. Here also this chromium is plus 6. Here double bonded O minus 2, minus 2. So it becomes plus 4. So overall charge, total charge of the bromine is Br plus 6 into plus 4 plus 6, total plus 16. So average oxidation number of bromine in Br3O8 equal to plus 16 by 3, as the compound contains 3 bromine atoms. Next compound is NH4NO3. NH4NO3. We have to calculate the oxidation number of each nitrogen atom. Each nitrogen. It is an ionic compound. Here NH4 is plus 1 and NO3 is minus 1. So separately you have to calculate the oxidation number of each nitrogen atom. In case of this nitrogen, the oxidation number is X plus. The oxidation number of hydrogen is plus 1 because the hydrogen is attached with the non-metal. So plus 1 into 4. Overall oxidation number becomes plus 1. For this part, we can calculate the value of X equal minus 2. So this X equal to minus 3, the oxidation number of this nitrogen. Again, if we assume the oxidation number of this nitrogen in nitrate is Y, therefore Y plus minus 2 into 3, because the oxide in oxide oxygen is minus 2. Minus 2 into 3, overall charge is minus 1. Therefore, we can calculate the value of Y equal to plus 5. Here the oxidation number of nitrogen is plus 5. Again in C2H5OH, in case of C2H5OH, see this C2H5OH. This is the structure. This is the first carbon, this is the second carbon. So we have to first find out the, this is the sigma bond. So through this bond the oxidation number becomes 0. So separately you have to calculate the oxidation number of each carbon atom with respect to these two fragments. Now first in case of first carbon, see this carbon is attached with oxygen through only one bond. That's why for this bond oxygen occupies minus 1. For hydrogen atom this is plus 1 because hydrogen is more electropositive than that of carbon because hydrogen is attached with non-metal. This is also hydrogen, so this is plus 1. So overall charge in its surrounding is minus 1, plus 1, plus 1. That means overall charge is plus 1. So to neutralize this carbon is always minus 1. So first carbon, that means carbon 1 is minus 1 here. Again for this carbon, hydrogen is plus 1. This hydrogen is also plus 1. This hydrogen is also plus 1. So in its surrounding total charge becomes plus 3. So to neutralize this carbon is minus 3. Therefore for C2, second carbon, it is minus 3. Thus also we can calculate the oxidation number of CH3CHO in carbon atom on CH3CHO. See the structure CH3CHO, C double bond O H. If we want to calculate the oxidation number of each and every carbon atom, then first also with respect to this bond the oxidation number becomes 0. So also we can dissociate this part into two different fragments. Now calculate the carbon atom with respect to each fragment. Oxidation number of carbon atom. See this, the hydrogen is attached with only one bond with carbon atom. That's why hydrogen occupies, because hydrogen is more electropositive than that of carbon, so it occupies +1. Oxygen here is -2. So in its surrounding of carbon, aldehyde is carbon atom. So +1 -2. Overall charge is -1. So to neutralize this carbon occupies +1. That means the aldehydic carbon atom occupies +1 charge. Here also, in case of carbon, the methyl group, this is +1, this is also +1, this is also +1 in its surrounding. The total charge is +3, so to neutralize this is -3. That means the methylic group, the carbon atom occupies -3 charge. All these are the oxidation number of the respective element.